Girl, I'll be foolish if I don't let you indulge me. Your lips like poison. I take my chance with you. If I did alone, I feel no you're in denial. I'll show you I'm loyal. You want that run way down like tsunami or Would you hold me down in the corner? Waka waka, you ever manage. Baby, gonna, do you give me sugar? La, la, la. Macho Mona Lisa, 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 Macho Mona Lisa.
Hello, Brenda. I think we've gone in a bit by 8 minutes. I don't know what's the status with Cynthia, or we can start off. I think Albert is also on right now. So I was wondering if we can give it a little bit of 5 more minutes before we start off.
Yeah, sure, John. I think Cynthia is getting on. She should be on shortly, I think.
All right.
Let's give it a 5 minutes then. Yeah.
All right. So just to welcome those who have joined in, this is the Kampala Innovation Week pre-event sessions. And today we are having the Talent Africa group hosting this session. We will be looking at building an entertainment-based business during and after the pandemic time. So we do hope everyone attending will be able to benefit from this conversation. So a bit of rules of engagement. You can type in a bit of your questions as the discussion goes along in the chat section. And do look out for our upcoming events as we go along. So I'll just give it a little bit time as we wait for our speaker to come on.
John, Cynthia is waiting to be let in.
Alan, could you just add in Cynthia and promote her to panelist? All right, I see Cynthia has been added. So I'm going to just hand this over to the tag team. You can make a round of introductions and we can start off. So over to you, Brenda and Cynthia.
Thank you, John. Cynthia, are you ready? Can we get started?
Send a message.
Alan, could you please adjust the settings? I think one of the panelists is having a hard time.
So I'm trying to put on my continent here.
Also want to accept Is that a question?
Okay. What do you mean?
It feels like everyone is so harsh or something.
Okay, breathe phone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I loud enough?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. I think we can proceed.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to this Zoom interview. I will be talking to Brenda Wilson. And basically today we are here to discuss an entertainment-based business, especially in this COVID time. Thank you everyone for joining us. Hi Brenda, how are you?
I'm good, Cynthia. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How have you been since the last time I saw you? Personally, business-wise, how are you dealing with the road to recovery from COVID?
We're doing good. We're doing very, very good. We're getting ready for we want to hit the ground running. So yeah, we're doing well.
You're doing well. How would you say that the entertainment business has changed ever since, COVID-19 hit about 2 years ago? In your opinion, especially with, being able to run Talent Africa with all the events that you've been able to do. Personally, I would say that you're one of the few event companies that has successfully been able to keep up with that. How would you say it has changed?
The entertainment landscape has changed greatly. I cannot believe how different it is right now. We've seen a lot of potential in terms of the innovations that we can create in this industry. We've also seen what it takes to survive a really a pandemic, a global pandemic. So it has definitely changed quite a bit. How we used to handle our events definitely is going to change once we open. A lot of things are going to be different, where we're actually going to, I feel like we will maintain the platform of having hybrid events, so that people that are not able to be there physically are still able to access these events. If it's a public event, if it's a private event, we've learned so much. Before we used to procrastinate a lot. Oh, it's Uganda. There's not enough internet penetration. There's not enough these. People are poor. They don't want to spend on their data on this and that. So, but now, I mean, we've seen numbers in virtual events that we've never seen before. We had a virtual event at the beginning of this year, tourism event, where we had over 5,000 attendees, and we were shocked. So yes, a lot in the industry, in the entertainment industry landscape has changed, and that includes how people are attending events, how people are going to be paying for events, and a number of innovations as well.
All right, for those of you who have just joined, in case you're just catching up with the conversation, we're basically talking to Brenda Wilson, who is the General Manager of Talent Africa Group, and discussing building an entertainment business during the pandemic, because we're still going through it, and also post-pandemic, because we're sort of getting out of it. And she's just been explaining how, Talent Africa as a company, especially based on entertainment, has managed to notice the change between what entertainment was before the pandemic and what it is now. You spoke about the tourism online event that you were able to host at the beginning of this year. And just for those of the people who weren't able to follow, what other events have you been able to host during this period, and how was it successfully pulled off, especially with the restrictions, curfew? events used to go on till midnight, 2 a.m., but now, 7 p.m., you have to wrap up. And then not to mention getting artists to perform and yet they've not been performing and that kind of thing. How have you guys handled it?
So yeah, we've handled a couple of projects in these almost 2 years that we've been in lockdown and not able to hold massive events. We started out with a project, our sister company that we launched a short while before the first lockdown. Our Tag Studios. We started out with a project called with our Tag Studio series, where we were actually getting data and information from artists that we were working with, how they're sustaining themselves during the very first lockdown last year, I think in March. We put out a lot of content in that area of entertainment, what people can be doing, how to stay safe, obviously, in that time. We went on to evolve to a project that we called the Pearl of Africa Star Search, which was a huge, huge project. We were working together with the Ministry of Tourism, where we were using music because it as one of the most impacted industries during the pandemic, and tourism, and married the two in ways of promoting, helping the youth that were actually really, really affected by this. Some of them, we are the really low income earners. They couldn't move. We're locked down. There's no inter-district travel. So what we did is we engaged our target audience, which was mainly the youth, with any form of art in the area of performance. And yeah, we saw a huge turn up where people actually submitted their projects online. We had over 3,000 submissions. I mean, as I said in the beginning, before we used to procrastinate, we're saying, no, there's no way, internet penetration, there is no enough smartphones in Uganda. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how the entire landscape in entertainment and events has changed. So that project alone showed us a lot of potential in how we can reach the youth, especially in those really, really remote areas, because we did send a big team to the very remote areas in Uganda, Masaka, northern Uganda, to engage with a couple of youths that we could through government authorized processes, because there's no way we could do anything without those approvals. So we were able to reach a lot of our target audience in that way, as well as we did the Take on the Pulse TV show and campaign, where we had people submitting and winning online a chance to travel and tour with the group of their choice, people of their choice. And that was also good because we partnered with Uganda Tourism Board. And because domestic tourism had been really, really impacted, the numbers were really, really bad. This was one of the campaigns that we were proud to be part of in order to boost domestic tourism. And we have since followed up to see the numbers, and the numbers have improved actually. More and more Ugandans are taking the time to visit and tour their own country. Once the government opened up into district travel, things actually really picked up. So we've been able to innovate around the areas that we thought, especially in the industries where they were also affected in the same way that we were. Tourism was there was no international travel at all. Events, we could not hold a single event. At some point, we couldn't even hold meetings of 5 people. At some point, it was really, really bad. So we were able to come together with the other industries that we thought had been very greatly impacted. We came up with good project ideas. We were able to make them hybrid and scientific events. And I can't fail to mention one of the biggest projects that we're actually handling, again, still in the area of tourism, but mainly on the road to recovery. So our focus market this time is Port Portal, where we're going to, we're taking an entire campaign to Port Portal to try and boost their tourism, because it was officially announced as the tourism city of Uganda. And due to the pandemic, a lot of businesses have closed. Women and youth have been impacted greatly. So we're taking a campaign called the Ekyoto Hampango, where we're looking at helping Port Portal City recover to put Port Portal Tourism City on the road to recovery. So that by the time the government does soften some of the rules and the regulations, the city is really ahead of the whole thing. Yeah.
You keep talking about the internet penetration in Uganda and how we as people were procrastinating about, using the internet more, saying we don't have money for data, and we were forced to be in a position where you have to get the data if you want to stay entertained. And we kind of moved away from the mainstream way of doing things, where we're watching TV, we're listening to radio, and then we had to move to online, YouTube, Zoom, for example, that we're working on right now. How does a company like Talent Africa monetize using online platforms? For those businesses out there who are wondering how they can shift from the mainstream approach of going to televisions and going to TV stations and radio stations, how do you monetize that online platforms?
So I think the most important thing about monetizing anything online is to make sure that you're producing content that delivers three main things that I believe are: it should be entertaining content, educative, and also informative a bit. The most important thing about content, especially now, it's not cheap to make content that is good, that you can actually monetize. And secondly, it takes a bit of creativity, because you need to create what you think is solving a problem. And what approach that we at Talent Africa have usually is, in the process of content creation, when we're thinking of what are we creating, it's that one thing that we think should be a secret, that this is a secret that no one should know because it's what has put us where we are. That's the very first thing we use to create content, because we want people watching our content to find solutions to the problems they're facing. We want potential content creators to find solutions in our content, rather than just us putting out buffs and buffs of content that does not actually help. So the very first thing, the approach that we take, is everything that we think should be a secret in our trade is the very first thing we create content about, because we hope that the same thing that we use can help someone else. So most importantly is you create content that people need, and when people are continuously engaging with your content, they somehow view you as an authority in the area, and they come to trust you, and they believe that you actually give authentic content, rather than just buffet fluff. I don't know if you know what content fluff is, where you just say random things that don't actually really help, or things that people already know. So the very first thing, the most important thing in monetizing your content is you do put out content that actually helps people, and the very first thing that you think about is what you think has helped you get to where you are is the very first thing you have to share, because most people ask us, how did you get there? Everyone, if anyone has taken the time to watch most of our content, the story of our CEO, Ali Bai, is on there, how he came from, where he came from, how he keeps building, how he creates these ideas. All that content is there. We give it away for free. And somehow, when we partner up with a few of the people that we work with, we're able to monetize the number of views that we get, the number of comments that we get. Then some of those ideas, as we created as content, free content, has actually evolved into paid for content by TV stations, by some of our sponsors. So yeah, it begins by giving the most valuable thing that you think and giving it free.
Now, you spoke of partnerships, and I just was noticing that you have actually taken on several partners on the course of the last 2 years during the pandemic. And my question would be, how do you then sustain revenue growth? Do partners give you huge budgets and give you assignments to do projects? Do you, bid? How do you sustain the revenue growth? Because obviously with COVID-19, the gigs aren't as many as they used to be. The concerts are not as many as they used to be. The conferences have been reduced to a minimum. So how is Talent Africa able to sustain revenue growth month on month, year on year?
So I will not lie to you by saying that we were not financially impacted by the pandemic. We were. The most important thing, we came from a company that was doing about 10 to 15 events on a monthly basis to no events in a month. So obviously that goes to show you that our revenue was heavily impacted by the pandemic. But what was important is behind me, there is a whole team of people. I have Albert who's on the call with us. I have Susan, I have Julie. I have a big team behind me that supports a lot of activities, that goes out there, that is always thinking that, you know, can we do this? Can we tap in here? I was part of this conference. I think this can be helpful. We also have a lot of platforms where we welcome ideas from people outside our company. We actually we had the spirit of not giving up. I studied from Gaza High School, so I that inner never give up came out during the pandemic. My team absorbed that from our CEO. We were very, very motivated. We were very shocked when the very first lockdown, our CEO told us, am I clear?
You're slightly breaking, Brenda.
Sorry.
I think you can proceed now.
Yeah, so from the very first lockdown, our CEO gave us that same motivation. Right from the CEO, we are a very highly motivated team. And it's been very amazing that in times when even I felt like, I feel like this project, we cannot sustain it. Our CEO stands up and gives us the tools that we need, the direction that we need. So above everything, we did have a number of partnerships, but the long-term objective of everything for us, especially during the pandemic, was to help. If we had been impacted this much, I mean, I don't know how anyone else is surviving. So the most important thing to us was to make sure that as we partner up with government, with agencies, bodies of government, private institutions, the main goal is to make sure that the end user is benefiting highly. So in all the projects that I have actually mentioned that we innovated during the pandemic, they had been targeted to youth and women and people who have been really highly impacted. So majority of the time when we were holding our events, the concerts, the festivals, majority of that was basically leisure, tourism, not much luxury, not much of, it's a give back factor. So because of that, majority of our work kept getting recognized. So we didn't stop there. Once one of our projects was almost ending, someone else is reaching out to us, asking us, "Oh, I saw you did this for this and that. Can we do something? This is my idea." So that is how we've been able to keep our revenue flowing. On top of everything, we have a highly innovative and motivated team. As I said, right from our CEO, it's been very, very amazing during these 2 years that we've been in almost 2 years that we've been in this lockdown. And yeah, that's how we've kept going. Yeah.
I must say that Talent Africa is one of the most highly relevant companies entertainment-wise. You guys definitely kept us, going throughout the lockdown. I don't know what we would have done. But, everybody sees these golden moments and all of this beautiful work coming together. And you just told us about the impact on the revenue growth that the pandemic had. But what are some of those challenges that you had to persevere through during this COVID-19 experience in order to keep pushing that work out? I mean, you discussed and told us about the inter-district travel, and just give us some more information on some of the things that really affected you as you tried to push on with your work.
So obviously there was an SBCC, social behavioral change campaign that we had to do. I mean, coming from a country that's most of our content never would go live, right? Majority of our content from events was always post-event. During the event, you're just posting a few teasers here, oh, you missed this or you missed that. But shifting mindsets to, you can watch this online live was a whole other thing. I mean, it took us some time to actually encourage people to not only sacrifice a piece of their data to watch content live, but also invest in the fact that they will need data to watch this content. So it was a tough journey for us to get that going. because a lot of people like, no, it's even after a few first 2-3 tries of that, people would still say the experience is not the same. So we still somehow had to partner the online experience into some kind of physical experience. So we had to attain a number of permits and licenses. We had to immediately by adapt by getting our team consistently tested. Once the vaccines came out, I think our CEO was the first in line for the vaccine and got all of us on board for the vaccine. I mean, we were continuously updated on all the information that there was to know about the pandemic and how to curb it and how to stop the spread and everything. So we kept evolving. We did all those SPCC campaigns. We were able to also continuously test ourselves. If anyone was sick, they were obviously left home. I remember reporting the very first case of COVID in the. I think I actually was the first case at Talent Africa, and it was crazy. And I got my treatment. I was actually fine in 4 days, but I took the entire 14 days because that was the regulation. You could not. I was fine in 4 days, but I did do the rest of my work at home. So we adhered to all the rules and regulations, which helped us a lot, so that anyone who was sick didn't feel like they had to hide their illness. They came once we found that you were not well, we offered the support that you needed. You took the time that you needed to get well, so that we don't make a bad situation worse. Above everything, our strategic partners that we've been working with that have really been there for us and listened to all our million pitches on a monthly basis. That was key. We had to keep that going. You know, regardless of the fact that we couldn't move, we couldn't stop talking to our partners, we couldn't stop talking to our stakeholders. So we continuously kept engaging them, writing to them, and making sure they are updated on our activities. If we had a campaign, we ensured that all our stakeholders were informed of the fact. If they needed to be a part of it, if they didn't need to be a part of it, we still inform them anyway. So those were some of the ways we're able to remain in the game.
Now, as we look to, the reopening of the country as promised by our dear President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibahabura, what do you see as the future for Talent Africa and the entertainment business on a whole? Because I think currently it is the only sector or industry that hasn't really been fully opened up. Do you think that there is an opportunity or chance for revenue to grow significantly? Do you think that things will go back to normal, because now we have been used to the new normal? Do you expect that we'll get back to that level that, Kampala or Uganda was at in terms of entertainment? Because we were really among the top African countries up there.
1 and 4, I think the most important thing is entertainment actually is going to get better. I believe now people will appreciate it more and cherish it more. Us as Talent Africa, what we're looking forward to is to actually now deliver even more unique experiences. These few 18 months have showed us a lot. We've had people writing to us, missing a number of our annual events, saying, and already asking us if they open, is this event coming up? Is this coming? Is this coming? Is the experience going to be there? So we've learned that we are actually going to give even more unique experiences to our audiences, so that if anything on this scale ever happens again, I'm sure everyone was able to be a part of a unique experience by then. We're trying to see ways of making things easy. We're integrating the new normal into actually our normal lives now. We're working together with a number of partners like Flutterwave to make our events cashless, so that if it's so like there's no exchange of money, paper, to reduce that contact all over again. So not only that, but also to increase security. So we are not going to go back to the way we're running things. We're going to actually integrate the way we're running things as how we've been running the last 18 months. So that sanitization points will continue on events. I mean, it's good hygiene at the end of the day, really. So a lot of the things are going to be incorporated in either way, because I mean, COVID will may still be going on. So we don't want to be careless about people's lives. We want our attendees to have top-notch experience during our events. So above everything, we are looking forward to developing unique experiences to people in this field, because people have missed this field for 18 good months. So yeah, that's the thing we're hoping to go up with.
Well, definitely looking forward to that. And I think personally, COVID-19 has really helped increase hygiene, not just on a personal level, but like generally, because, you know, you're always washing your hands, you're always sanitizing. But for those people who are currently watching this interview and probably will catch up with it later, that want to, you know, set up entertainment-based businesses as well, you know, young people, what are some of the features they should look out for? What are some of the expectations they should have, challenges they should know beforehand? It looks easy when you guys are doing it and you're setting up these events and you're putting up your brand, but obviously it's not. So, you know, what do they need to look out for if you were to give advice as the general manager?
I think the most important thing is that entertainment is a people-based business. I think I appreciate my boss. I look up to my boss so much, because I've never seen a person that is more social than my boss. I've learned so much from him on how to be social and work with people, and find a middle ground with people, because that's what event planning, event management is about. You should be able to find a middle ground. Your client may want something in a certain way, and you know that this is how it should be done, but how you communicate that is very important. So entertainment is a people-based business. If you cannot connect well, work well with people, listen, understand, no matter how right you are, how well you know the system, the processes, it's important to speak and respect everyone in the trade. So that is one of the most important things. Secondly, an idea alone is not enough. You should be able at least to have a prototype, that you can show someone. In entertainment, if you say you have a dancing crew that is one of the best, it does the best moves in Kampala, you must have something that you can show, that in form of, like, you have content already, you've shot, you've already invested. An idea alone is not enough. We've worked a lot with so many people, and they've been able to come, the moment they reach our offices, they've been able to come with a number of prototypes that they've done. Some of them we improved and partnered, improved and worked on them and made them better and put it out to the public, and the public loved it. And other people that came to us with just ideas, the most important thing is they brought the human resource to the team. They were able to come with a team and work it out with us, do the conceptualization, concept notes. We're doing those reports together. So the most important thing, even if it was an idea, they were able to come with a resource of human capital on board. So it's important that it's entertainment best. You should be able to work with people well. And if you have an idea that you've not yet implemented, if you're backed up by people, you're still able to find a way of working with us or any other person in the field. Yeah.
Now, you run an entertainment-based company, and COVID-19 was really a time for most of us to have, that slow pace at home. Some of us were working from home, others weren't really working because the jobs were on pause. What are some of the interesting entertainment trends that stood out for you during the pandemic? Personally, for me, I would say TikTok, but I feel like TikTok as an app had the chance to shine because everyone was at home and not able to do much else. I don't know, for you, what are some of the things that stood out that you thought this would have never happened in a normal world?
I think TikTok was going to be phenomenal with or without the pandemic, because of its the model that it's operating with. If it's able to actually have all these other platforms revise their model to emulate what it's doing, obviously I feel it was going to do well even without the pandemic. One of the things for me that stood out is how innovative my fellow Ugandans became. I was very amazed. I was My email was never short of proposals, even during the pandemic. And these ideas were amazing. Some of them we shot, for example, we shot with the Ghetto Kids, we shot with Valentino. These ideas were amazing. Like I didn't think that my like Ugandans would really like innovate and come out of this slump, stay strong and come out of it. I was very, very amazed at how innovative a lot of even my own colleagues surprised me. I could not believe it. Some of them had so much potential in so many things. My colleague Albert alone surprised me. He's really good at what he's doing. There are things I didn't even know about him before the pandemic. So a lot of people were able to release an inner talent, which I think majority of them harnessed the power of TikTok to show to the world that hidden side of them, that they're content creators, they're very creative. They unleashed all that on TikTok. So that's why my begin when I say that TikTok was definitely going to be phenomenal with or without the pandemic, because that outlet was very important for people. You get us Africans, you know how we are. We have a culture. We're very, we don't want those spotlights. So if TikTok came and gave us that little spotlight and shine a little light in you, people became innovative and creative and used it as an outlet. So that's one thing that stood out for me. When I watch all their million TikTok videos, that's the one thing that stands out, that Ugandans remain creative and innovative in various ways. Yeah.
Now, speaking of growing trends, how does Talent Africa as a company ensure that they keep up with these trends and are in tandem to, kind of infuse what they're trying to do and help it reach other people through these platforms? Because every single day there's a new app, there's a new way to do things. Facebook just turned into Meta. You have to really how do you guys do it? Do you have a young team that keeps you on the pulse of things? How do you do it?
So yes, we do have we're in the process of onboarding a younger team as well. We believe in working, with people across the age groups. We don't work with just the young ones. We also need the wisdom of all the ones. So yes, we do work with the young ones, but we also have a lot of tools, digital tools that we use to harness data. We work with a few research partners as well in terms of, for example, if there's an event we're thinking of, usually there's a few research partners like Ipsos that we work with to help us do a bit of data mining so that we better understand. The problem with the entertainment industry is data is very limited, and it's so hard to collect a few pieces of data from people, because a lot of the time, since it's entertainment, people think, oh, what are you going to use my email for? What do you want my number for? It's a little bit invasive. But since the pandemic, people have become more, they've seen how it works, that we don't take your data to rob you or do anything. We don't ask you for all this. And above everything, we've left it optional. So we use a number of tools, social media listening tools, research tools as well, online research tools, as well as physical research partners that help us, give us a lot of data that we need. For example, a recovery plan that we're working on is very, very research based, because the last thing you want to do is to come out of a very bad financial period, and then invest in something that will not give you the returns that you need. So we are definitely working with Ipsos and a few digital tools to help us better understand the data, especially from the online events that we were doing, comparing it to the physical events before the pandemic.
Okay, so just before I ask my next question, Talent Africa Group has been operating for how many years did you say that's been?
12 years. 12 years.
12. And as a person who has worked closely, one thing I have noticed is that you really go out of your way to maintain long-term strategic partnerships with the companies you work with over time. How do you do that? How are you successful in maintaining these relationships and ensuring that they keep coming back to you to take you on for more and more events and more projects for all the other companies?
So we do we what we've done is we like to become the event itself. Um, for example, working with Kampala Innovation with Startup Uganda has been a blessing. Understanding their vision and their mission for Kampala Innovation Week took us some time, but when we understood, when we saw what they were doing for young startups, their passion to help startups and introduce them into these different ecosystems, there is no way you cannot want and love to be a part of such an event. Kampala Innovation Week has I myself personally have learned so much. Last year alone, they had a very nice session about finance and investment, where I think they had CEO of Flutterwave, I believe, and his session was very, very informative. And at the back of my mind, I'm thinking like this is the information that a lot of startups need to hear. A lot of people with just ideas need to hear. A lot of people that think I could have been good, but I don't have money need to hear. So what we do at Talent Africa, we love to understand the events that we manage, and we become a part of them. We stop doing it just for the money, but we want to understand and actually realize what this event is supposed to do for people. So we're really proud. KIW is just an example, one of the examples that we have done, but it's one of them that stands out really, really big for me, because it's really an event that can help a lot of startups realize a lot of things. Because I think if you look into some of the success stories, you can really see what this event alone is about. So that's how we maintain our relationships. We love to become the event itself. We don't want to be on the outside looking in. Oh, it's innovation week. This is what it does. Oh yeah. No, we understand the target audience. We harness the data of the events and understand how people react to the event, and we try to evolve every every leg of the events that we handle. We try to evolve so that we don't just get copy paste the same thing that we do every year. So that's how we try to remain relevant with our clients.
All right, speaking of revolving again, 12 years in the business, you've watched the Ugandan entertainment industry grow, you've watched how things have changed over the years. What are some of the significant differences between 12 years ago when you started and now, when we've just come out of this pandemic and trying to recover, and even before that, just slightly before the 2 years that we've been dealing with COVID-19? What are the things that stand out to you about the entertainment industry in Uganda?
Well, definitely evolved. I think, I don't know if you've come across some of those, the very first entertainment awards, I think the PAM Awards. I don't know if you've come across some of this footage, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Very all this, oh wow, like we have evolved in how we set up our events, how we promote our events, how people dress, the fashion at the events themselves. A lot. I mean, all these Ugandan designers that have come in, the Beryl, Anita Beryl, Arapapa, all these brands, all the designers that have come in to support the ecosystem of the entertainment industry. It's amazing. Before, you really had to cater for yourself and find and go, and right now there's personal stylists, there's all these kinds of things. There's even people that can pick you up from your home to take you to the event. It's totally amazing. So I feel like not only have we evolved in how we do our events, the technology in the events area has also evolved. I do apologize. I think my connection is having an issue. I'm sorry.
All right, we are having a bit of an internet issue as Brenda Wilson is talking to us about technology. I guess sometimes it can really work against you. But in case you just joined us, we are discussing building an entertainment-based business during a post-pandemic, and that is obviously COVID-19, as you know. And Brenda Wilson is the general manager of Talent Africa Group, which has remained relevant even during this pandemic and has continued to prove that there is a hope for the entertainment business after all. We have just 3 minutes to wrap this up. Thank you so much, Brenda. Maybe you can just tell us more of what you're looking forward to as we get into 2022, what we should expect from an Africa Group, especially post-pandemic. Closing remarks that you might have.
Thank you, Cynthia. My closing remarks are for anyone listening in that is interested in being a part of the entertainment industry. I think I propose those for I'm always happy to see and meet up. I'm not at my desk, but I'm always happy to work with anyone, the young, the old, the people in and out of Uganda, the diaspora. We're happy to work with anyone. It's a matter of reaching out to us. Our information is readily available on our social media, on our website, we're readily available. And also I want to appreciate the KIW platform, the Kampala Innovation Platform, for the work that they do for a lot of companies that are innovating in different spaces in this country. So yeah, thank you so much, the team from Startup Uganda, from Digimac. I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much indeed to the Kampala Innovation Week for allowing us to have this session, and we're about to wrap it up. But in case you didn't know, Brenda Wilson actually did mention this. Ekyoto Hampango is happening in Fort Portal Tourism City, and that is the latest project that Talent Africa Group is taking part in. So if you want to understand how this entertainment-based business is actually dealing with things, you might have to come see for yourself firsthand. Otherwise, I wish you a lovely, lovely afternoon and evening. Thank you so much to everybody who joined into this Zoom session. Bye.
Over to you, JT.
Right. Thank you, Cynthia, for hosting this. Thank you, Brenda, for all the insights you've shared. And to all those who have attended, we really appreciate you for giving in some thought and time to have this conversation. We really apologize we started late and can't have a bit of time to get in some queries. But if Brenda is up for it, we can have one or two, then we can wrap this up. But otherwise, let me just run through a bit of highlights. This is our final pre-event session for this week. We shall resume on Monday with some more sessions. We're starting off with Startup Uganda on Monday. So we do hope you guys can join us then. So if there's no any other question as per now, I think till next time, we can see you all then. Thank you all for participating in this.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.